Hello, hello. All right, it's Monday, and I am back from a week being off. And today we're going to play around with actually making a game. I was just in the process of cleaning up um, this other little project I was working on. Let me see, where is uh, Arc? And I'm like, been trying to get Lovable to behave today, but it actually doesn't want to do anything. So I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll give it a try. Let me close my other project that I have open. And yeah, if we come here and if I go to Lovable, I was just trying to see what was going on with this. Sign in. I was working on this version of a prompt editor that sort of cleans up your prompts for you. And I swear, like I'm telling it to do stuff. I literally said, removing the duplicate, use API keys. It's still here. And now it's here. So I wonder what happens actually if I test. Please provide a Gemini API key. All right. I will come back to this later, even though this is sort of where my head's been at. I've just been messing around with this little idea here where I can. So I saw someone else that does where you feed it a prompt, you tell it to clean it up, and then it uses specific templates. And I'll come back to this. I had a whole bunch of tools in here that actually like show you like how many tokens and all this kind of stuff, but I need to set up the rest of the API, and that's not really what we're going to do here today. We are going to do, let's go to the, let's go back to my profile, and where's Cigar Smuggler? So, I had asked Cigar Smuggler to update its design to match something like this, and it just gave me back sort of crap. And what we're going to do today, assuming I can pull this off, is let's go here to GitHub, and cool, I am not signed in. Sure, sign me in. Let me go authorize it. Yes, approve. You're going to give me the code thing? All right. Let me go through my favorites here. And one of the things that I saw, and I was messing around with it before, but I didn't have some luck, was this Tori UI project. And Tori is a native wrapper, basically written in Rust to take a web app, wrap it, and make it feel more native. And then you can run React and stuff inside of it. So my plan was to get this up and running and lovable, but it really didn't like that idea. And I think today I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to try to segregate out all the code for my brain is already not working. It's been a while. After like a week of not streaming, then I got to like think back of how to do all this. I'm going to segregate out all the code for Cigar Smuggler, and then we're going to implement this new design and then start moving over the components. So if we come back over to Cigar Smuggler, let me shrink this a little bit. We can go into the game. The whole idea behind Cigar Smuggler, this was a game that I wrote for Android years ago. It was like, actually, I think it was like the first game that I wrote for, it was actually the first thing I did for Android. I did it as a prototype for, I was working on HBO Go, and they were making a mobile app, and they had hired developers to build it, and I was part of the team that was leading one of the Android engineering teams, and I didn't know Android at the time, so I did what I normally do, is I built out a little game and started testing out custom UI and how you embed fonts and all the other fun stuff that you have to do in Android. I did know Java, so it wasn't that difficult. It was just more of learning how Android worked at the time. And then a lot of that code actually made it into HBO Go and into HBO's mobile app, which I found out by mistake because somebody made a commit and saw some of my Cigar Smuggler code in there and had to strip it out. But that being said, the whole idea is this is basically just dope wars where you go through, you can buy and sell certain cigars, and then when you move to a different location, the prices of them change. So here we're going to sell this. These ones went down. So let's go to a different location, and a patrol officer spots besides let you go. You got lucky. All right. And let me see, where was my money here? So I'm somehow a negative 59 in debt. If you go back to Fort Lauderdale, oops, we got caught by the cops. They took all of our cash. This is happening a lot, and I don't know particularly why, but if we go to play again and we start the game, one of the things that I tried to have Lovable do was I had it to start building out unit tests, and this is another piece of what we're going to do today is I want to separate out these unit tests, and I don't think that they're actually working correctly. So that's a whole other thing. But the real goal is, how do we get Tori UI up and running inside of our project? And let's do this. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. I need to log in here. Give me 1 second. Let me go find where I put my password for this, because apparently it didn't get saved. Coder. I believe this is it. All right. And so I have Cigar Smuggler running from yesterday. What I did have, and what I was trying to figure out before, was I put this project, Tail UI, Tori UI, Note App Sandbox. What was this one? This didn't run, so this one probably, here, let me see. Tori. I had, yeah, Tori Vite test. This should actually, let me rerun this for a second and see if I can get this guy running. Sorry, I was just checking a message. Did this actually run? I wasn't paying attention because I had a message come in, and let's see, up and running. Give this 1 second. All right, so let's give Code Server another minute here. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to open up Code Server. Actually, before I even open this, let's just do the preview. And yeah, it didn't run, and I don't remember where I left off with this. I wonder what is causing the problem. I also don't remember if this even did run. Where is my Vite? 8080. No, I don't want to keep opening that. I want to open up the console, and it doesn't look like it ran anything. Let me see here. Let me go back to, where was my editor? This is the Tory Note app. There should be a command that I was running in here. Let me just double check what the command was. I wonder why it doesn't want to run. Build error. Let's see, what's the problem here? Cannot be loaded, require blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, I need to back out of this, and let me shut down this workspace real quick. And then we'll go in and start figuring out what we need to do. So, all right, let's see. I'll deal with these messages later. All right, so I want to go back to my workspace. This Tory sandbox. I do wonder one thing here. Let me do this real quick. Git status. Git branch. CDV 0.1.0. Wait. Git checkout v 0.1.0, and now, whoops, let's see if I can rerun that command. Oh, I know why. npm install. Let me try doing one other thing real quick here. First off, let me get out of this. Let me go here. Let me restart this now that I switch back over to the other branch. Because what I'm trying to see is I want to make sure that I actually have like a good starting place, but that's not... I think I'm just going to wind up moving on. What I can't tell right now is I don't know if I want to start with getting this up and running on Lovable and fixing the template, or if I want to just throw it into the project and see if it runs from there. Because here, I do have it running, but if I remember correctly, when I put it onto Lovable, it broke. Oops. Let me close that out, and let's come here and let's reopen this. I guess, why is this unhealthy? Okay. Let's restart this one last time and see if this will clear out the errors. But I think what I'm leaning towards is I'm just going to check out the code. I'm just going to move everything over by hand and sort of figure out how to get these things working. At some point, I need to get the music working. I have a whole bunch of housekeeping I need to do on the stream side of things, so maybe this afternoon or tomorrow I'll get to that. I've been dealing with so much. I've been dealing with so many other things. So, why won't this code server instance get back up and running? All right, let's do this. I'm just going to delete this because this is just not work. Oh wait, now it just worked. Interesting. All right, I am going to actually abandon this. Let's do this. I want to go back here. Let's stop this here. Not like I need the resources. I have more than enough on my computer. And I actually just bought a Mac Studio that I need to set up that has a tremendous amount of memory. It's going to be my main dev environment and AI machine. And then offload heavier tasks in my other computers that have graphics cards. But let's see. Cigar Smuggler. Let's open up this here. And let's open up this. All right, so this is the older version before I had it do stuff. Let's see if I can split. Oh wait, I want to add a right split. And then I'll just get this out here. Sorry, as I try to just set up all this stuff. Why can't I change this at a right split? There we go. All right, so now, and I'm just going to shrink this. There we go. So again, this is the whole game. Everything's up and running here. Great. And this is now running locally. But what I want to do is I need to git status, git fetch all. So let's see if we can fetch all the changes. Git pull all. We got to do this thing again. I just have to reconnect the v0.2.0, v0.2.0 status, git pull. All right, and there we go. Now we're with this not so great design. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to check out v0.1.0. Whoops, git checkout v0.1.0 and git checkout checkout main. I just want to see what the main, if the changes and everything that I brought to main, yep, all the unit tests are there. All right, I'm going to rebranch off of main. I'm going to create a new version, a new branch called v.3. And then we're going to start moving over the other code. All right, good. Whatever. It's just going to fail. It's not a big deal. So let's do this. Git branch v0.3.0. Git checkout v0.3.0. And git push. Let's just push all this out so that this way now on Lovable, let me close this out. Now, if we come back over here, we go to our project settings, GitHub, and we select branch 3 or 0.0 or 0.3.0. We'll get the same. Wait, why didn't this change? Lovable is now using this branch. All right, let me refresh the page. How are you using this page if it's not updated correctly? How are you? Oh my God, this is annoying. Am I missing something here? Git status. Why is this not changing to the right branch? Please be a cache issue. No. Project settings. Let's try this again. All right, let's go to main. and it switched to main, and it's not, look at this, it is not updating the project. Let me quit this and go back into Lovable again. Oh my god, this is so annoying. This is not what it's supposed to be doing. This is just utterly broken right now. All right, whatever. We're going to do... Let me switch over to my local dev and we'll deal with it this way. So, all right. Let me clean this out. I'm just trying to get a sense of what's actually in here. These are the components, hooks, lib. All right, so the first thing we should do is I want to go and I'm going to check out the code from this repo. And let's see here. So we're going to do git clone, and we're going to put this in temp Tori. And then, oops, I didn't mean to move that in temp. Let me just move temp Tori to my workspace. All right. So now I have this whole project in here. These are the templates, and we're going to be using the Vite one. So let me do this. I'm going to move... I'm going to move Vite out into here. Oh, wait, why didn't this... Yeah, move Vite out. Let me go here. Let's delete all this other stuff. We don't need it anymore. Actually, let me do this thing. Let me do this. Move workspace Tori Vite. And I want to move this to workspace temp Tori. mkdir. All right, let's just make the directory then. Workspace temp. And now let's try to move this again. All right, so there should be a temp folder here. The temp folder now has everything from Vite in it, and I'm going to delete this Tori. Let me actually do it this way. rm, oops, what are you doing? How did it open that up? rm rf Tori. The reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure that I also remove all of the Git repo stuff from checking it out. So all right, so now this is checked out here. Let's do this just so we don't, actually I don't want to rename it. I just want to copy the name. I'm going to put in the git ignore, and I'm just going to put this in here just so we don't accidentally commit this temp folder back up. So in here now, I need to figure out all the stuff that needs to go into the template. So the last time I tried this, let's do this. Let's look at source. And here's my source up here. I want to see how they do their components. All right, all this stuff is lowercase, that's fine. And then the UI stuff. I'm kind of curious if it's the same. Here's the accordion. And I want to see if their accordion is the same. This is 59. 57. Why don't we do a quick test? What we can do here, I'm also going to add a trash folder to the git ignore. And let's do mkdir underscore trash. So what I want to test out real quick is I want to see, I don't remember what version, um, I don't remember what version of React this Tory is using. So I wanted to just do a real quick test. I'm going to move this UI over here into trash. Yeah, no. That's going to break the site, which is fine. Let's close this out. And then from here, I want to move the UI from this into source and see if it'll rerun. Yeah, I have a feeling that these versions are incompatible with each other. Oh, it's missing the tooltip toast and sonar. So what is this? This is tooltip toast, toaster, tooltip. I don't know where the tooltip is. Tooltip and sonar. Let's just copy those over, and I'm going to paste them into here. See if that fixes the site. What's not found? Error. Yeah, I don't like this approach at all. Oh wait, no, these things need to, no wonder. They're supposed to go in the UI folder. Three of the following. Maybe it's this thing that's missing. Nah, this is not gonna work. Ooh. What just happened to the uninstall? Oh, I just went back to a different tab. All right, so I thought I was doing undo. Move this. I'm just trying to undo my changes here. Never. And then undo this. All right, so this brings everything back. Yay. Okay. So now the real question is, I guess this is using some version of React that is, they're going to be incompatible. So, all right, if you're just tuning in, I'm taking an old Android game that I had written years ago and converting it into a React app. And what I want to use is Tory, which is a native app wrapper, and turn it into a native desktop game. What I'm trying to figure out though is I have a template for it, and I'm trying to figure out how to merge that with what I have now. So let me go into the package here, and I want to see what version of React it's using. And where's my other package? 3.9, 3.34. Well, that was a resolver. This is all React 1.1.1. 1.1. All right. Let's do this. I'm just going to move over all the stuff that I think I need here from this template, and then we'll come back and we'll deal with the UI components later. So, all right, let's do, we have public. This had a bunch of, I guess, placeholder images and stuff. So, oh, these are the avatars. So let's put this into avatars, move. In source, we're going to move this assets. In components, we're going to move, we're going to move all of this into components. So theoretically, this stuff shouldn't affect the game whatsoever, as long as I'm not replacing any files. There's a dashboard, which is a front end. So let's add components. I think the dashboard just goes into the root of source. Dashboard, move. the libs. This is where things are going to start getting a little fun. Let's see. I want to see these two guys next to each other. Tailwind merge. All right, I'm pretty sure that I can just replace this and it's not going to break here. All right. Everything seems to still be working. So this was the, let me close this out. Let me close this out. And I'm going to, just so I can keep track of what I've been moving around, let me just delete this. Delete permanently, sure. The styles global. This is where things are going to start. No, no, no. Hey, look at that. They don't have a global styles. All right, we'll put that in the source. This is where I start not following what's going to be happening here. And I wonder what I can do is, I wonder if I can, switch out the app in the main here and make these old and see if I can just get this thing up and running. There's a Tory source that we definitely need. That goes at this root level, so that there should be source and a, where did that go? Sourced. Wait, let me undo that move. Byte. Wait, did I screw something up here? Source. No, that's the wrong folder. Here we go. Styles, global. Okay, I need to move the styles over to source. Move. And I want to move this. Why is it not letting me, move this to, forget it, I'll just do this. MV to / workspace Tory. All right, that solves that problem. We'll move all the Tory stuff. What this is going to do is, this is all the native wrapper, and it's like the integration with Rust, so that when you build this out using some of their command stuff, they have a whole bunch of GitHub actions here. It'll use React. We're not going to bother with that just yet. Public, we've already gotten rid of. Let's delete permanently. Source, we're going to leave for right now because I don't know what I want to do with all these things just yet. And what I do want to make sure, though, is let me go back into here for source. Where is the byte environment D? Fine. These things are the same. That's fine. We can delete this out of here. And components. Used host tooltip. Wonder if these show a version number? No, of course not. That would make it way too easy. All right, everything else I think is let's see here. There's a components file. Components. Let's see how these two stack up together. I'm just trying to get like a high level understanding of what's different. Which one was this one? This is in the workspace temp. This is in the workspace component. Default, true, tailwind. All right, this just changes the style. Components, lib utilities. All right, I'm gonna have to come back to figuring this one out. I think what I'm going to wind up doing is I'll probably just open up ChatGPT in a minute and have it help me just merge some of these files. But I don't think I need to worry so much about it. I think the real test is if we move over the app and the main. So let's go into this source here. Let's take the app and the main. Whoops. Are these the two app and the main files? Just lost my place. App and main. All right, we're going to put this into trash for a second, which should break everything over here on the right. Okay. We're going to move this into the trash. There you go. Thank you. That'll break the whole site. And now, if I take this and this, I'm just going to copy it for right now and paste it into source. All right, now we're going to get somewhere. Failed to resolve the import for API core. Let's look here and see what's in this thing here. API core, huh? What am I in? Oh, I'm in the CSS, no wonder. So this is Tori Apps API core. So I think what I need to do is I'm going to have to import Tori Apps. Let's get our friend ChatGPT out here and see what it has to say about this ChatGPT. Nope. Where did I put ChatGPT? There we go. How can I fix this import error? Give me answers. I think I can just do npm import Tori apps. No. What do I need to import with npm? Sometimes when you tell it to fix something, you don't give it real like specific directions. All right, is there a global? It just like makes up its own thing. Tori apps to install. What we need to do is we're gonna have to compare the package from Tori apps is not global. It's I get. Oh God, I misused the word global. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna look at the package for this project. And all right, I'm going to show you the package for Tori. I cannot type today. Tori app. And when you've seen it, I need your help telling me what to import or what to install in my project based on what's missing from my current package. All right. No. Oh my God. Wait until I tell you what to do. Man, it like gets so like happy and like it thinks it's response happy. It's just like, hey, here's some shit. Just do something with it, but it's not even what I'm asking it to do. All right, here's my package. Let me go back here. Here is my current package. What is missing that I need to install, and tell me how to install it with npm. $5 says it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. That's it? You're missing all Tori packages. Install the following. Well, what do you mean? You tell me if I'm using any packages from the Tori template package I showed you earlier. I see ChatGPT is going, yes, from the previous time you're missing these. Okay. Give me all of the missing package or missing modules I need to install. Why is it just not cool? Is that it? Thank you. All right, let's see here. Plugin OS, Tori, shell, Tori controls. All right, whatever. I have a feeling we're going to be reverting this anyways. I also like that it gave me two different npm install. Complete log of this. Unable to resolve dependency tree. All right. I'm hoping that I can get this up and running maybe in the next like 15 minutes. Maybe that's being too positive thinking. Am I thinking to run this instead and skip the dependency conflicts? Yeah, thank you. All right. Clear. Now. Refresh. Failed to resolve. See, oh my God, I want to scream. All right. I am getting more errors. I want all the missing packages. Here's an example of what you overlooked. Really? Am I? No shit. Am I missing that? Thank you. All right. All right. Oh, I see ChatGPT does not want to play today. All right. We're just going to go through package by package apparently and fix this. Ooh. Now that is promising. What is going on under here? I'm like running out of space. All right. Uncaught error. Cannot read properties of undefined reading arc about dialogue about. My assumption is that there are components here. Let's just start one by one here. This is generally how I've always debugged code. So years ago when I was a consultant, I would always just get thrown into particular projects and I'd have to just go line by line and start trying to figure out like how do you merge things? What does this piece of code do? At the time I didn't have ChatGPT, so I want to say maybe I was better at it before I relied on it. But let's see here. Let's do this about dialogue. I want to see in this components that there is an about dialogue here, and in these components, in the UI, there's no about dialogue. All right, so that is helpful. Wonder if I can just install this. Oh wow, this really. I wonder if I can install this manually or if I have to, or if I just copy them over. Are these also things I can install with npm, or should I copy them from the old project? I don't even care about my typo. Whoops! No! Stop! I didn't copy what I wanted it to copy. Copy. Luckily, whenever you make a mistake like this, you can at least just go back and re-edit the prompt and then give it the right thing and it'll pick back up from where it left off. Yes, everything you're seeing about Tori controls, React icons, or npm packages. Oh my God. For custom components like about dialogue or anything in source components, copy those directly from the old project. They're not installable via npm. Okay, so the real question now is let's do this. Dashboard, I want the components, UI. I want to copy these. I'm going to paste them into trash so I have a backup of them. And then I'm going to overwrite. Let me do this. I'm going to copy all this stuff. And I'm going to paste it in. This is not good. There's no way this is going to work. Well, at least it added copy to these things so I can tell which ones are actually, whoops. I can now tell which ones are duplicates. Cannot read property of about dialog. I don't think about dialog was here. Let's take a look at where about dialog is. About in source components. Right there. So it's looking for all these things it still can't find. And I thought I installed this already. How can I install these packages using the legacy peer? I have another idea of how to do this. I think what I'm going to do after this, after this fails, is I'm just going to go copy all the stuff from. I'm going to copy all the stuff from the previous package, paste it into my new package, and see if that will just resolve itself. Because that always works, right? Why are all these missing? All right, let's try this the other way. Although I have a feeling that all this stuff is bad. So let me do this. I'm going to revert my changes. I'm hitting undo. There we go. All right, so we've gotten back to the previous components. This about dialog. All right, let me see where its package is. And we're going to try this one last time. I want you to help me merge these two together. Tori template project. And let's see, the other one is going to be my base project, my current projects packages, and current package. So if I can get it to actually copy this stuff over and merge what I'm missing, then I don't care about this right now. What I care about are these dependencies, because then I can just run npm install and that should import everything based on what it was expecting before. My bigger concern is that all these versions are just going to be a hot mess. Let's do this. We'll start with the dependencies. I'm not going to touch this script stuff yet because it's Vite, so it should just run with npx Vite anyways. I'm not worried about that. And let's see here, the dev dependencies. Somehow there's less, which is always concerning. All right, so clear. Wait, I need this this flag, or it just breaks everything. Come on, you can do it. Install all the stuff. I was doing a really pathetic drum roll. Added 170 packages, removed 211 packages. That's concerning. Cool, that didn't fix anything. Huh. I don't know what's going on. All right, I think my approach is not the correct approach. I think what I need to do is I think I'm going to wipe all this, move all of the working code into its own folder, and then just get this Tory template working, and then from there, once I know the Tory works, then I can move my code over, and I have less of a chance of breaking things. So I think that's the approach. All right, let's do this. I'm going to delete everything because why not? The only thing I really can't delete, let's delete this permanently. Delete. I'm going to delete this permanently too. Ugh, why is this blocked? Delete. And this temp is delete. That temp.vite file was because I was running the server and trying to delete the server at the same time. So that isn't ideal. All right, so I want to do git reset hard. And now this is going to bring us back to where we were before. Now, this won't run because I'm going to need to restart my dev environment. Where is my dev environment? All right, so now if we restart the dev environment, we'll come back here and we'll wait for this to finish rebooting. Actually, maybe it'll help if I just watch this and see where it's rebooting. It's going to clear out the module folder. It's going to reinstall all the dependencies and then run the server again. So here we are now. I think if I refresh this, it should show me the site. Good. And all I'm waiting for now is for code server to reinitialize. So this is my own sort of dev environment that I have set up here, where I can run my own VMs. Yes, we need to reload this window. I have my own code editor, and it's all sort of running off of an M4 Mini that I have as a NAS, which I'm going to be replacing with a Studio that's sitting next to me. I just need to finish setting it all up, which is probably what I'm going to do this afternoon. But all right, so now all this stuff is here. What we're going to do is I want to check this project back out again. Tory. And where is this? So let's do git clone. And we're going to call this workspace. Tory UI. Sure, why not? And now the real question is, if I just go into this folder, well, technically I need to go into templates, Vite. I was just looking what these other, I don't know what any of these other packages are. I had this up and running once. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move this Vite folder out. then we're going to rm rf Tori UI. We'll delete everything in there. So, RF Tori. And then let's move the Vite, and we're going to call this Tori UI. So now I've deleted all the other GitHub code. I now have a clean install of this template here. And what I'm going to do is, let me clear this. I always forget this command. I need to write this down. How can I stop Vite when it's running in the background? I think there's like a kill all Vite or something like that. I just need to pass it the kill PID. I don't think LSOF works. Yeah, that's not going to work. Not working, but I know it's running on port 8080. It's funny, sometimes when I ask ChatGPT, yeah, here we go. I think I can do it this way. I don't think yeah. I'm in like this very stripped down node environment, so I can never remember what commands. I don't want to install this. How can I? Node Docker image. Come on, kill. There we go. Yeah, let's just do this one. Oh my God. All right. Forget this. What we're going to do is I just killed that port forwarding, but it didn't really matter. So annoying. I've done this in the past, but it's fine. We're going to get this CD into Tori anyways. You know what? Hold on. My brain's just like trying to figure out the easiest way to do this. I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a new folder, and we're going to call this Cigar Smuggler. And then we're going to move everything but the kitchen sink over into that, and then restart the container, and that will kill Tori. Or not, sorry, that'll kill Vite. All right. Let's restart the container. It's going to give me a whole bunch of errors because there's nothing to. It's going to call npm install, and it's going to call npx Vite to run Vite, but it's not going to run anything. But that's fine. I'm going to go and manually set it up. So let's see what we can do here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to go back to here. Yeah, give me my bad gateway. That's fine. I'm just waiting for code server. Yeah, it's going to give me these errors because there's no npm to install. Is code server back up and running? Cool, nothing's working now, huh? Okay, it's telling me it's unhealthy, but the only reason it's telling me that is because it wasn't able to install anything. If I just refresh this now, I should be able to get code server back up and running. Now, if I cd into, let's see. I'll cd into Tori. I'm going to do npm install. And we'll wait for it to install everything, and then I should be able to just run Vite. Let me see what the package is telling me to run. It should be just dev Vite. Oh, I will need to tell it to go to, let Let me go in the config here. Oh, I have it set up for port 8080, or it's already set up for port 8080, which is fine. Unless I'm in Cigar Smuggler, which I am, like an idiot. Let's see, the Vite config. We can just do this as 8080 here. It's clear, and then let's do npm run. I think it's just dev. Where's the package? Yeah, dev. Cool. That didn't work. Connection refused. I know why the connection was refused. That's because I'm not doing, what's this command? It is in my settings. I have this special command that tells it to use the host. Although it might wind up being one of these things where I'm just on the wrong version of. So not what I want to be doing right now. I wonder if this has more to do with, there's like a whole bunch of like configs that I've had set up previously that work well. Yeah, because I'm not binding it to the host. And now let's refresh. All right, this is being blocked because it is, it just needs allow hosts true. I'll just manually override this stuff. And there we go. All right, so this is now up and running, which is promising. So I'm trying to think of what the best way to approach this is. I can try to get this back up and running with Lovable and then move everything over, or I can try to move let's try to figure out what I did wrong last time that didn't let it work with Lovable. So I know now that this entire thing, we don't need this, we just need all this. I'm going to copy all this and I'm going to paste this here into the root. And then we're going to leave this, wait, did I do that right? Tori UI, public source. Right, okay. Let me just rename this real quick. Rename. And we're going to rename this. I just want these things to, no, never. Rename. All right. Because the problem is when I push stuff back to Lovable, if it doesn't have the right packages for Lovable or the right configuration, then it freaks out and it can't do anything. So let me clear this now. We're going to go cd here, ls, and I just want to run this. Do you need to install the following packages? Yeah, sure. Just npm install. Let's see if it'll install everything. Did it install everything? No, it didn't, because it needs that weird flag, which I don't have right now. That's fine. Let's do it this way. I'm just going to restart the entire container, and that will clear out the Vite stuff for right now. And while that happens, I'm going to actually bring my chair back in here and make this a standing desk, or sitting desk. All right, so let's see. Still waiting for the code server to come back online, but I should be able to now come here, and this is now up and running. Ooh, I don't know what my desk was stuck on. Something. That's not good. Hopefully I didn't break anything. Reconnect, reload the window, and there we go. So now we have this working, or at least as good as it does. It really didn't do a lot of things, but I just like the look of it, and this is what I want to start messing around with. And then what we're going to do now is, let me do this. In the git ignore, I'm going to put this underscore Turi UI and underscore Cigar Smuggler. And we're not going to save these, but what I want to do right now is just want to do git commit git, let's just add everything first. Git status. I just want to make sure it's not including any of that source Tory. Fine. All right, I just want to make sure it wasn't including those two templates or those two other folders I made. Let me clear git commit setting up Tory template. Whoops, cannot type. And let's clear. All right. So now, if I was to push this to Lovable, it would just basically crap out. So what we're going to do is I need to now make sure that I want to move these things over bit by bit. And there's some stuff in Cigar Smuggler that I want to make sure we have correct. There's this lovable tagger thing. There's... All right, let me do this. I'm going to just make a git brand git be 0.3.1. I'm going to branch this off of the 0.3.0 so that I have a safer way to get back when I screw all this up, which is just inevitable at this point. All right, let's close this, and this. And what I want to compare is the default Cigar Smuggler. I don't need this. Vite config and the template. So the biggest one is this lovable tagger. Excuse me, I'm all burpy today. So lovable tagger, what we're going to do is we're going to move these things over piece by piece and see if this stuff will still work without breaking it. Because this is what it's come down to at this point. Package. Remember I was saying I was hoping to get this done in the first 15 minutes. Now I'm hoping if I get this working by 11, I'll call it a win. In dev dependencies, let's see, we want, whoops, we're going to copy over this. Here's what we're actually going to do. I'm actually going to copy all of this over, and I'm going to take a look and see what is colliding. Because this is using a much newer version of Node, a newer version of React, although 18.3 should be fine. Can I comment this out? Wait, it would help if I had the right shortcut. No, because it's in a... All right, so let's do this. Let's delete this. We're going to delete this. React DOM is 18.3. Close enough. I don't think that much is... you know what? We'll try it this way. Auto fixer 10.419, fine. Post CSS 8, 8.4.38, fine. Tailwind CS 3.3, get rid of this. TypeScript 5.5, sure, and then Vite 5.41. right, so now that is the first part. I should have done this from the beginning. Although now it's going to give me a whole, this one's going to be a lot harder, but it's just a million different packages. Oh, look at all that yellow. These resolvers. I guess what I'm going to do is I'll do it this way. I'm going to remove this. Oh, get rid of this. I don't want that. I'm going to remove all the conflicts in the template and see if this thing will still run. Whoops. Ooh. Got a little happy there with the delete key. See if this will still run and not give me any React errors. Recharts is installed in this? Interesting. Oh, you know what? I had it in before because I was using it in my game. All right, so now, whoops. All right, now I have all the same imports. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a clean reset of the workspace environment. That's going to wipe all the old node packages out. And then, oh, I see what my desk got caught on. It got caught on my chair arms. It's going to remove all of the old packages because the way I don't, in my Docker container, I'm not mapping over the package folder or the module folder, so that every time I reset the Docker container, it wipes that, recreates it, and it's locally scoped. Let's come here and hey, look at that. It actually still runs. Reconnect now, reload the window. It's still loading this up. But this stuff all seems to, oh, it looks like it's working. Just trying to see if there's any weird errors. I'll look at the console in a second. I just want to get the coder back up and running. There we go. Now the coder is up and running. We're going to move this over and let's take a look at the console log. And we'll clear this. I'm going to refresh and see if there's anything I could fix. All right. It's not a function in about dialog. All right. I think the issues, all these issues are really, these are all Tori integration things. Let's ask ChatGPT real quick if it has any idea. Copy. Are these is it okay to ignore these errors? Are they showing up because I'm running the byte locally instead of in Tori wrapper? All right, let's see. I've only used Tori. Well, yes, those errors are expected and safe to ignore when running in a regular browser via Vite, not inside the Tori app shell. To fix or silence them, okay, I don't really care about silencing them right now. All right, so this is working. Now the real question is, and this is what I don't know from Lovable. Let me just double check that this close you for or at least minimize you for a second. We need the same Vite build. Which one was this one again? This is the workspace package. This is the one from the old Cigar Smuggler. I think it requires this dev build Vite. So let me add this one over ESLint, and Vite preview, fine. And then everything else should be the same. The only thing I'm going to do is let me just replace build with, I'm just going to simplify the build because I don't need to do the TypeScript validation before I compile it. And Bob's your uncle. Will this work? I think everything here is, I'm going to make this, I'll move this type module over. We'll do one more test just to make sure that I have everything. But I think this is really all I need in, does this have its own package lock? Yeah, I'm going to delete this. We don't need this. Delete permanently. All right, we're going to do one more reset and just make sure that the stuff that I just tweaked didn't break anything. And then I'm going to push all this over to Vite, to Lovable, and then see if Lovable will actually work. My hope is that the only thing that Lovable really just needed was it needed that, like, there's some Lovable plugin. I do need to fix the, server file. We'll take a look at that in a minute. I think Vite does some stuff in its, why is this not running now? Not good. Yeah, something's broken. Yeah, I broke something. Why is this not running now? npm run dev. Oops. This is going to give me a problem because it's already running on 8080. Failed error starting required. Let me see if I change the 8081 real quick. Yeah, so let me see if it knows what this error is about. Do you know what is causing this? Here's error because you're using a require path in the Vite config, which doesn't work in ESM mode. Replace node path. I think I know what's going on here. I don't need. This is a problem I had earlier. And let me reset this config so that it goes back to port 8080. All right. There we go. All right. It was something with this module, but I think that's just the way that Lovable makes these changes. So let's do this. Let's clear git status, git commit, adding Lovable support to package and to package. All right, the thing that I do know that I need to change, and let me make this a little bit smaller here real quick, is that there's two things. This is the Vite config from Lovable, and this is the Vite config from this template. And there were a couple of things that I noticed that need to happen. One is this. It needs to be imported. And then I'm just going to go through and figure out these. Build, target process. These build things I need to keep as is. We're going to replace the server with this. We're going to replace the plugins and the resolve. Is there a resolve here? At path underscore directory name. I think that's fine. We just need these. We need this thing, which is React, and this component trigger is the lovable tagger thing, and that is basically what gives. Where does mode get set? Oops. Oh, it's because it's in this export here. And let's just fix this here, which should now fix that. So basically, I guess when Lovable starts this whole thing up, it passes in a mode. The mode goes to, if it's in development, it uses this component trigger. Byte options to inventory. Tory expects a fixed port. It fails. All right, let me go back. There's one thing I wanted to copy over. I see what it's saying. It needs the this strict port thing. We'll do strict port, and we'll see if that works or if that breaks the Tory stuff. The lovable stuff. I don't think any of this other config or tailwind posts, I think all this stuff is fine to stay the same. All right, back to the drawing board. Let's restart the project again and see if this actually works. All right. I'm hoping that by now the preview should be going. That's not a good sign. Is it run? No, something's wrong. There's something about this setup that it doesn't like. Did I move that stuff over? Hold on a second here. npm run dev. Let me see what errors I'm getting. Oh, cool. We're gonna have to deal with this ESM, the different packaging things. What about this? Excuse me. Also make sure that the device uses ESM throughout. You already have type module and package. This is going to be annoying because it's two different packages. This is why I hate web dev. Here's the fix. This is using the proper ESM syntax. What's funny is that it's not. Oh, I need this in the. Hold on a second. We're mixing ESM and regular. I don't want to have to redo all the imports in my app just for Lovable. Tagger. No, not cleanly. The type module project must use import everywhere. Requires won't work at all. To avoid rewriting the app files, you can rename the vyconfig and use the common JS syntax. Move lovable logic into a separate and then dynamically import it. All right, let's try this a different way. I'm going to go into, first off, this. Wait, can I revert this from here? File history. All right, I'll deal with that in a second. What I want to do is I need to go into this package here, and we're just going to fix this manually. I'm going to take this module. We're going to go into here. We're going to paste this and save it. And now let's clear this. And now let's go through and fix all these errors. So okay, let me tell it what I did here. All right, walk me through fixing all the errors. I just modified the package to use module. Getting this error. I'm going to have to be a little bit more specific with it in a second. I'm just trying to preload it with a little bit of knowledge and see what it has to say. You're almost there. Let's walk through fixing the vyconfig. Error fails because require isn't allowed in type module. In the vyconfig, change this to this instead to ensure all import styles mean no require anywhere. Okay, fine. Now what I need to do is, let's close this out, and I want to search in this folder. Let's go to search. I can't remember how to scope in the files. Okay, include, let's do /source. Wait, source in here. We're going to look for, what did it say? Require? Yeah, okay. Let's make sure there's no more require. All right, we're going to do it the hard way because I don't remember the syntax for slash I guess it's just in the included. What do we do? Source / */ /TSX? Nope. Now, if anyone remembers how to scope this in, let me know in the comments. All right, let's look for require. Wait, get rid of this. There we go. /src / oh wait, slash all right, I'll get back to this. This is in the workplace package. Wait, I think it's really me see what it has to say. I really don't want to have to go through and do this for every single... No, you don't need to change the tailwind config. Files can stay in the type module project. All right, if it's telling me that that's fine, let's do this. Let's just run this and see what it gives me errors on. All right, so it won't run. What about this? What about this error? If you're just tuning in, I'm trying to update a old game of mine from Java into JavaScript, and I'm trying to rename the config file to use the .cjs extension. No other. Will I need to change anything inside to export correctly? Or just the file name? No changes are needed. You say that now, but I think you're full of shit. Let's clear this. And we'll rerun this again. And look at the next. Ooh, did that work? All right, we're making progress. I know what this bad request is. All right, let's restart this and let the container run its setup command. And then that should pass in a flag to allow all hosts. And then it will let me get past that. I have like a block on my, I have a couple of things on my server just for security. And this is one of the flags that needs to be toggled in order for it to work here. Come on, you can work. Please work. It may also not work. I'm going to wait for a code server to reinitialize. Maybe it's waiting for that. All right. That's working. Server host to... I think the issue here, and I've done this in the past, is that it's using a different version of... hold on a second. I am getting this error. I am calling... Where's my command for startup? Parameters... which works in my old project. Is this an issue with a different version of Vite? I think the older version of Vite, it's either the older version of allows this or the newer version allows it. But yes, it's due to Vite 5, which strictly enforces allow hosts. It was only honored in Vite 4 with a plugin. It's ignored in Vite 5. Is there a way to toggle this flag based on the environment variable? Maybe I'll just update this. It'll use some whatever the thing is called, some conditional. Oh my god, why I can't remember what an inline condition is called. This is how bad my brain has gotten in old age that I can't remember. Oh my god, what is it called? What is this type of condition called? Why am I blanking on that name? Ternary operator, of course. We all remember the ternary operator. Let's go here. And we'll replace all this. Ugh, I'm like running out of... Wait. Restarting this should work, but it didn't. Probably because it still doesn't have the thing in memory. I think I just set this like 1440p or something. I have like no space to do anything. Wait, where did... Oh, I'm an idiot. I just copied that because it was the last thing I asked. I needed to copy this whole thing. No wonder it broke. My bad. My bad. Now what? I don't think ternary operators are allowed here. Major Mayhem. Hello. Just seeing a message come through. All right, I'm so close to having this running, and then we get to push it to Lovable and see if it actually works. You're getting this because a loud host must either be all or an array of strings, but you did this. I didn't know what I was doing. Why didn't you do this correctly? What is going on here? Change this to this. I did this. This ensures the type always matches Vite's expectations. Well, you're failing my expectations here. All right. $5 says that it's doing this. Yeah, I knew what it was doing. It's just, it's so... Does it not like this idea? No overload matched. This last overload gave the following error. Hold on a second. Oh no, I'm not using cursor. I haven't actually used cursor. It's on my list, but I don't want to get into. I built my own dev environment, so this is all running locally on my own server. I don't want to pay someone for an IDE. Wait. Shouldn't this be a Boolean? Well, it's going to tell me I'm right. No, server allow host is not a Boolean. Invite 5, allow host can be all. Yeah, you want to test that theory? Fine. Let's try it this way, the way that I know is going to work. Hey, look, it works. So you are wrong. Well, this version I'm using only works with is cursor good? I was looking at downloading it a little bit, so I did want to test it out. But a big part of what I've been trying to do is true as any for Vite 4, or more clearly, is this Vite 5? Where's my? I get rid of this Tailwind thing. What version of Vite am I using? .41. All right, so for 5.4, let's see if this works. I don't think this is going to work because it completely screws it up last time. Often you can throw YOLO mode and have code bring up and test it till it works, so you're not doing all the back and forth. Yeah, I've been using Lovable for vibe coding, and I'm just trying to get this working in a way that Lovable will accept. And it does very similar things. Yeah, see, it doesn't like this at all. You know what? I don't I think Lovable will be fine. This is just not very secure, but hey, you know what? Who cares? All right, I think we got enough going on here. Let's push this to Lovable and see if this actually works. Git status. I also had this guy here, continue, to integrate into here. I just don't have the, I don't have my local LM. Whoops, I didn't mean to bring that up. I don't have LM Studio running. If I did, it would, let's see. This should now, I think I have to stop it and then start it back up again. Or maybe when I restart it. This gives me some of that stuff, although it doesn't, yeah, it's a drug dealing game. Yeah, it used to be called, the Cigar Smuggler game used to be called, it was Dope Wars, is what used to play. And I made a version of it for Android. It was the first thing I ever built in Android, and I was doing it when I was prototyping out HBO, the HBO Go app I was building, and I built it all in Android using custom UI and stuff like that. This is 100 years ago. So yeah, so instead of drugs, you're just going around buying and selling cigars. So let me do this. Let me do git status, git add, git commit, fixing import for Lovable, git push all, and let's see if this actually works. Where is Lovable? So normally when you push a change, it'll work fine. What's winding up happening here is that because I'm pushing a new branch, it doesn't know to switch over to the branch, so I got to go manually into the project now and go to GitHub, and then it should see my branch, and we'll open up v0.3.1 and see if this actually works. That took a long time. All right. Let's refresh this. Yeah, there's something really broken right now with Lovable. It's actually not, is there like errors that are coming through or something I'm missing? Because it is not updating. Like, let me see if I have to roll back to a different version. Huh. Look at this. So here it's actually seeing this. What happened here? That's weird. So the history, how did this just load up like this? I have noticed that it may not just be it may not actually be Lovable's problem. I think it's the Arch browser. There we go. Sometimes the Arch browser gets like hung up in this the way that Lovable brings in the stuff. So okay, here we go. I wonder if I'm pushing my luck here. Let's just tell it to move all of the code from the previous game over. No, it's never good. That's never gonna work. Let's give it a try because I want to waste some credits here. I want you to implement the old game code. Oh no, you know what? It doesn't exist because I ignored it because it is in source. Yeah, I have the .git ignore is hiding, which is fine. Okay, here we go. We're cooking now. We're cooking. What we need to do is, first off, there's like 2 git ignores, so I don't know what the hell that's about. Delete that guy. And my theory now is that I'm going to copy over all the previously working code into the folder so that Lovable will see that the code actually exists. And then I'm going to tell it to rewire the code up to the new UI. And we'll do it sort of piece by piece. And cross our fingers and hope for the best, maybe? I don't know. Seems like a logical way of approaching this, right? All right, so we don't need this anymore. That was the old Tory thing. Although one thing that I do want to do, and we'll do this while we're waiting here, is I'm going to remix this project real quick so I have this part that's up and running, because I couldn't get it working before. Project settings, remix, do not include the history. I'm curious to see if this is going to give it Cigar Smuggler 00. Maybe that'll be the next version of the game, the little James Bond version. All right, cool. That worked. Basically, what I did was I just made a copy of this project, and let me go back to my dashboard, and I'll come back and I'll deal with this guy later. I really wanted to get this up and running, and I'd say I made really good progress, but I'm behind where I want to be. All right, so now if we go back to my editor, what I want to do is I'm going to start moving the components over. We were doing this before. Let me actually shrink this screen a little bit. You guys won't be able to see it, but at least I'll be able to see a little bit more of what's going on here. I'm going to move over all these components. Well, let's see here. Let's start with the big stuff here. The utilities. There's no utilities, so we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste this guy in here. The pages, there are no pages, so we're going to copy, and we're going to paste the pages here. There is a libs folder, and it's just utilities. And I think I merged this last time. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. That's good. The hooks, we need to move the hooks over, which I don't even know why, but whatever. I think this hook just deals with something in mobile, but I'm not going to deal with that, but I'll just paste it in anyways. At least this way Lovable will see more of what it thinks it needs to see. Paste. And then all this UI stuff, we're going to copy over. And in components, we're going to paste. There's no way this is going to work. The real thing I want to know is, as long as it's not throwing any errors here, it should, theoretically, since nothing in the front end right now is referencing the old code, it should ignore all that stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use Lovable to then re-implement it correctly. This is going to take a little bit of finagling. So what I don't know now, it has all this stuff. Sheet, separator, select. Let's do this. We're going to see if Lovable can actually do this for us. And this is sort of where I guess the vibe coding stuff comes in really handy, is because what we can do now is we're just going to, what was the expression I heard on this video that I watched that talked about vibe coding? We're going to troll the LLM until it fixes everything. So now it has all the code, nothing is wired up, and well, let me commit this real quick. I want to make this back to where it was before. All right, so now git status, git add all, git commit, adding back in old Cigar Smuggler code. Git push. All right, we'll push this all live, or at least we're pushing it back to the repo. Lovable is going to see this in a second, and it should... Let me reload it. It's supposed to switch to that. Did I push it live? Wait, git branch. Shoot. What? Why was I on V3 point? Oh, I did that the wrong way. That's fine. Okay, whatever. I'll just switch back to V3.0. I don't know if that actually had all the... I don't know if that had all the code. Well, if it's running there, it's running here. So let's just do that, I think. Is that one way of looking at it? I need to find the project settings, Git, and let's switch back over to V3.0. All right, so now we're back at 3.0. And because we had this problem before, I'm going to create a new tab with Lovable. Let's delete this. Let's go here. And what I want to make sure is that if I come into here and I look at the code, we should have in the components, right, all of the Cigar Smuggler stuff. All right, now comes the fun part. What I want to do is I want to figure out how... let me get an old... I want to get an old version of it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make the local copy. Ugh, I'm going to regret doing this. Let's make this git checkout main. Yeah, of course you don't like that idea. I got to restart this server. Actually, will it let me even do this? Vite doesn't particularly like it when you try to restart it while you're running the server itself and you switch between different branches. Cigar Smuggler. Restart. It's funny because when I built this game years ago, oh my God, I'm trying to remember when I worked for HBO. I guess I built this back 2011, 2012 maybe. When I built this game and I launched it on Android, it was like, it actually was doing really well. I was making money. I was making like, I don't know, was it maybe like $10 to $15 a day at first because I was implementing ads. And I was updating it, people were playing it, and it was becoming sort of popular. And then I'm like, you know what? Making games is easy. I'm going to go make a new game. And then I abandoned it, and then I never made another game as popular as that, and then that one died off. 404, huh? All right. It doesn't like this idea because it needs to... Let me get out of this URL here. Okay. So I guess the lesson I learned was games are hard. I mean, then I went and started working for Microsoft and Amazon in their games group and working with other game developers. So, all right, what I want to do is I want to figure out, I want to tell it that I want to set up a new start game. And let's take a look at this design and figure out where we can do this and how we can tell it to... All right. Shoot. Am I just thinking through in my head like how this is going to work? All right. Can you What other games have I made? What other games have I made that nothing that was ever remotely popular again? Um, I made a ton of Game Jam games. The only other game that I made that was like really super uh, that I really loved, but I don't think anyone else did, was this Dragon Sweeper game, which was a little coffee break. It was almost like a mix between Minesweeper and I don't I don't want to hear the music. It's probably going to be loud on my end. Oh, I hear the music. I don't think you guys hear it, so you're lucky. Basically, you go through and you have to. Yeah, let's play this map. If I remember how it works. Oh, yeah. Once you get into a monster thing, then you have to battle it. Oops. It uses a sort of like real time thing. So, but they get faster and faster, and you can build out more complicated levels and stuff like that. So, and this was running in Unity, which maybe I'll actually rebuild that too as a web game. And then I just did a whole bunch of actually I think the most popular thing I ever did when I was at Amazon was this game design notebook. I created this notebook, and we would give it out at GDC because I hate. I mean, I know people like shirts and stickers and crap, but I hate when like you give out stuff at events and you can't do anything with it. And I also don't like wearing other people's shirts. So I created this notebook for game development, really for like game jams too. And there used to be lines out the door at GDC to get them, and people still remember that. So those are my claims to fame. A million years before that, I dressed up as a homeless person and went on the street selling Flash websites, and that's how I got into web development as the Flash bum. But that is a long, long time ago. All right, let's figure out how we can change this around in order to work. I think the easiest way to do this for right now for testing is that I want to modify this file, say new, and we're going to modify this to start a new game. So I want you to modify the file menu, and in the new tab, make 3 options for each of the game's difficulty modes: easy, medium, hard. And then outside of those games, I just did a lot of courses for LinkedIn Learning. And a lot of the stuff that I built in my own games has wound up really going into LinkedIn Learning. I'm more of a actually, I don't even know what my brain is like completely spacing. If you don't know me, this is. Oh, wait. No, I want. Where's the website? Pixel Vision. Pixel Vision 8 was, I guess, the most popular thing I ever built, which was a fantasy game console like Pico 8. So, but I haven't. I swear, I did it for like. I built it for like. It took me like. I worked on it for like 7 years, and I had to stop working on it like 2 years ago. So I don't even remember it. But yeah, that's the most popular thing I've ever made, and actually made me a ton of money. They should have named it Vibe Studio Code. Yeah. Oh, hey, look. This is what happens all the time. Is that a lot of times just. I mean, right now it's trying to muddle its way through whatever like code I gave it, because it loves it loves following its own template when it comes to implementing UI. Oh, and it's giving me this error again. Your project is out of date. This is going to be the problem. Node cannot find the module rollup. May not disable omit. Let me try this one more time. So this update project is Lovable telling me that it doesn't understand what the hell's going on in here. And that I must have missed something But I'm just going to keep pushing through. Well, look, it made it. So build is unsuccessful. Vite is changed. Restarting the server. Package subpath parse at is not defined by exports. Excuse me. The server failed. Cannot find module rollup parse. All right, let me do this. Let me try to update the project and see if it'll actually work this time. Because the last time I tried to use this template and then update the project, it just crapped out because it told me it couldn't edit certain files. Yep, here we go. And now it's going to tell me, I wonder what this means. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. I love having one AI tell another AI what to do. Do you know what could be causing this issue? Maybe if it's an easy fix, what I'll do is I'll switch back over to the branch. Yes, you're hitting two separate TypeScript configurations. Cannot find the module. Vite depends on a deep rollup module that requires module resolution to set nodes. Fix this in the tsconfig JSON. Fine. Or use node 16 if you're not building with ESBuild. How do I know what I'm building with? What the hell does Lovable use? What was the file? Oh, what was the file I wanted? It wanted tsconfig. Let's find the tsconfig. Tsconfig. Let's do this. All right. Enable rollup compatibility. Replace this with bundler. All right. Now, the real question is, wait, I wasn't paying attention. I want to replace I want to replace module resolution with bundler. Module resolution with bundler. Oops, I keep forgetting the wrong tab. Then fix the project reference error. So in the TS-JSON, remove this line if it persists. tsconfig node JSON. tsconfig. Wait, let's save this change. And then this ts, whoops. Okay. Let's see. I'm hoping that fixing these two flags will let Lovable move on with its life. What I'm really curious about, though, is if this is actually letting me save these changes. All right. Now, the real question is this bundler still exist now that I've made another change? So let's go back into here. Bundler is still there, so that did let me edit these. Sometimes it has problems editing these things. So let me restart the whole tab, and we'll do a clean reset or refresh. Hey, look, that error went away. Interesting. Let's make another. Okay, so let's do this. File, easy. All right, how do I want to do this now? I'm trying to be really selective here on figuring out. Let's if we start the game, I want to, let me see if I can get this. Sorry, I'm like trying to think about this at the same time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start telling it piece by piece how to change some of these widgets so that it matches a little closer to the other. So it matches to the other game template. And then I'm hoping that by doing that, it will start wiring up the pieces of the game that I need. So let's do this. Let's, I want you to update the overview analytics reports and notifications tab. Wait, you know what? I can do it a different way, I think. I get mixed results with this, but let's try it this way. Whoa. This is not, is none of this, none of this is selectable? That's weird. I wonder why it's not selectable. Usually you can use that to select certain divs. So, all right. Oops. Tab to represent each of the cities for the game. Let's see if this actually works. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get oh no, I'll be manually coding. This thing's way too dumb to handle this. What I did was I created a document and I took all of the old, here, I'll go back over to this. I took all of the old Java code, I put it through ChatGPT and had it create a game design document for me, including like all the values and everything and the relationships of everything, plus all of my own notes from before when I designed it. And then I fed that into Lovable, and then Lovable came up with this game, which out the gate sort of worked, but there's still a bunch. I screwed this up. This is a thing that I added in. So it did make something that was sort of working, but the bigger problem is that I haven't been able to validate. I haven't been able to validate things. So I started having it create unit tests, and these are passing and sometimes randomly failing. I wonder if I actually refresh it, if the status will change. So I'm going to go back in. Once I get most of this wired up, I'm going to go back into the actual code itself, and I'm going to clean all that up. What I really don't want to be doing, and it's mostly because I just am not that good at React or a lot of these like newer front end things, is that I don't want to be building UI. To me, that's something that the vibe coding stuff could do. It's like, hey, wire this up, do this, blah, 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 blah. I want to focus on actually making the game. So now if we look, it's created, hey, look at that. Okay, that's pretty funny. It not only did it, here, you go fix that error. Not only did it add these locations in, but it went through and changed and intuitively realized that this trending should be updated, and these NASA, it changed this text to here. Although every day it's changing these values. I don't know what that's actually like wired up to, but all right, keep. Oh, here we go. We're back. We're back to this thing, huh? Why are we back to this? And no, I've not, Major Mayhem, I have not seen a 100% vibe coded game before. I don't think it's even possible. I can barely build anything that functions in Lovable. And scary enough, it's probably one of the most polished of all of these things. Like I have all these different experiments and things that I've been building out. The one that I'm the furthest on right now is this project here. Which is a tool to let you put your prompt in here. Clean up this prompt. And then it will clean up the prompt. Oh, I have to give it a Gemini key. Where did I put my key? Where the hell do I put that Gemini API key? Let me just go paste this from another. I'm just in a different tab that you guys can't see off screen. Set up your API key. I just want my key. I hate when it sends me to the documentation. AI.google. Get a Gemini API key. I already have one. Let me copy this key. Yeah, I think the entire game is going to be React. Here, wait. Let me see if this actually worked, because I was working on this before. Now if I go back to the prompt editor, no, I don't need to save that password. Give me a prompt. So now, I don't know why I just did this. I haven't, there's a lot of stuff I need to clean up, but long story short is that this tool will help you clean up prompts, and then you can use this to go back into these sort of vibe coding apps. But one of the things that I really was trying to figure out is that if you're, a lot of them use like tokens and certain specific things that charge you a fee as the more detailed you get. So I've been building in tools that analyze like how many tokens it's going to cost, how many tokens in, how many tokens out, and it lets you sort of edit this, and you can save them. Right now it's just saving to the local thing, or you can favorite things. I don't know if this will actually work. Oh yeah, good. It did see it there. It did this, and the favorite will be there. So this is a little tool, but this was what I was actually building before this. Let me see if I can go back to my dashboard and find it. Where's my what the prompt? I haven't worked on it in a while, so that's a prototype. Did I have an older version? The question is, does Lovable read the entire code base? I don't think so. A lot of the times I have to feed it in specific stuff too. I guess this is the oldest, maybe working version of it. Wait, I need a different password. This is what I really was building, and the whole idea was I wanted you to be able to build prompts. As you can see, it's not working, with almost like a Scratch style editor. And this is based on, I wanted to teach kids how to build prompts in a visual way. And I spent a tremendous amount of time on this prompt editor. So I can go in here and I can build out different prompts. And if we go to public, all the different prompts and things that you can build in are sort of fleshed out at the moment. But it's so stupid, because I'm like, okay, you now have this foundation. Now I want you to take the same concept and put it into the prompts and rebuild this so I can just build the prompts. And it just breaks it every time. So I haven't had a chance to sit down and really go through. And I had like all kinds of versioning. The issue is that when the code base gets so big, Lovable just falls flat on its face. And I've been in the Discord a lot. I've noticed that it's just a lot of people complaining about the same exact problems, and it eats tokens like nobody's business. But they're just not very responsive. So I actually sent a message over to the CEO or the founder, whoever he was, because I'd love to help them out. I built so many DevRel teams for Microsoft and Amazon and Samsung that like I know this stuff in and out, but they're just screwing it up as they're not really working with their community. All right, I want to come back. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. I think I can continue to ignore this. What I don't want is, well, no. Let's see if we can fix this once and for all. How can I fix this error? This is in the tsconfig JSON. But out of all the tools, even the, what's that other one? The new Firebase one. I tried the Firebase one, and like it wouldn't even connect to Firebase. Like Google built a vibe coding editor to sit on top of Firebase, and the first thing I did is said, let's set up a Firebase, let's set up like a login authentication and a database, and it just couldn't figure it out. So, I mean, but that might have been just like the first version, so I sort of just gave up on that. Here, let's pull in this. So I still keep coming back to Lovable, and I tried, the other one was Bolt. Bolt won't even work for me. I tried building something, it gave me an out of memory error, and now Bolt will not restart at all. So I can't even use that. Wait, compiler, wait, what? Wait, what are you, compiler options? When the config is, oh no, ChatGPT is in its, I'm going to give you emojis for every response phase again. Damn it. When the config is referenced via references, it must allow emit, even if you're not emitting. Otherwise, TypeScript throws, all right, can you give me the full, oh wait, you must remove the no emit in the reference. All right, let's go back to that. I thought I did that. How should I update this? So right now I'm in this like weird state. That file is already correct. No changes needed. Why is Lovable still showing me this error? Let me get the full error. Is there anything in the console logs that I'm missing maybe? Console. No, this is just all the Tory stuff. Fine. Where was that full error? It may just be something where it just can't reset itself. Maybe I need to wait for like the dev environment to spool down and then come back up. You're still seeing two different issues. The reference project may not emit. It means that your root tsconfig reference. Double check the config node JSON. It must not include emit. I did that already. Then the package subpath is not defined by exports. This is likely due to Vite 5 using internal rollup modules that are not exporting in recent rollup versions. To fix this by pinning rollup to an older version. Let me see if Vite can run this, or if Lovable. If it can't install this, then what I can do is I can just go in and edit that and then reset the. I can just go edit it manually. The environment here does not allow me to run npm commands directly or install packages to install. Open your terminal project folder and run this. Well, why don't we... I need to manually do this. How can I update the package? And let's just give it the whole package file and see. Where's the package? Package. All right, but then what we'll do is I don't think this problem is a big deal, but I think the issue really comes down to when there starts becoming problems in the code. Lovable is going to get confused over this problem, trying to fix it, and then the other problem. So I want to just make sure after both changes, delete the module and the package locked and reinstall. Okay, let's do this. We're going to change this here. Well, wait, let's do this. I'm going to redo this tsconfig first. Whoa, that like, oh here, look, no emit, true. Why did it do that? Shouldn't that be false? Isn't that what it's telling me? No emit equals false. I swore that I had changed that. Didn't I change that? No emit false. No emit false. Fine. And then in the packages, we need to just add To dev dependencies. Package dev dependencies. Come on. I just want to make sure there's no other instances of rollup. I don't like this. This to me is a smell, a code smell. But let's see if we can do it anyways. We're gonna save the changes and pray for the best. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to open up a new tab and let's close this one out. Let's open up Cigar Smuggler. And I don't know, that error seems to have gone away. All right. So let's do this now. All right, now I want you to wire up the new game in the menu to the to start up a game based on the mode or on the difficulty selected, and populate the recent sales with the cigars for each location as the user moves from location to location. No way it's going to work. I'm not that lucky, but we'll see. We need to update the app's root component to manage. Yeah, okay, fine. You do your thing. I'm going to think through what I want to actually do here. And this is sort of where my head's at with the vibe coding stuff, is that I'll jump in and I'll clean up the game code and all that stuff later on. Like that I'm fine doing by hand. What I wanted to do is wire all this stuff up. And what I'm thinking is that I'm going to tell it to remove this strip here with the search and all that. We don't need that. Did not like this. Dev server ts config JSON may not disable emit. Oh, what are we doing here, guys? Come on. Yeah, I'll have it build out the rest of this UI, because I think I just need to simplify from the I just need to simplify the UI. I need to why can't I go back to this? Will be part of the menu. Fine. You'll start the game. We'll have the cigars on the right hand side. We already have the locations. I'll have it put these the day, the cash, the savings, and the inventory into those other widgets that it had, and then we just need to deal with the safe and then the purchasing system. But other than that, the game is pretty simple. Yeah, we're doing this again. You attempted to modify a read-only file. Please reattempt the changes without modifying this file. Let me see if we can just fix whatever this one issue is. Oh, I see. It's not going to be able to fix this. This is on me. I'm going to need to go in and do this by hand. This is the ts config, right? ts config, there's a comma expected. Let me just see why. I am getting this error. And let's switch back over. Where's the error? These are both the same thing, right? How can fix this? So if this doesn't work, which I think this is probably one of the limitations, is that even though they let you edit some of the files, I think they're still, what I've noticed this before when I was trying to do like local storage and stuff, there are two different versions. The version you're looking at when you're working on it, and then React. And then there's the version that it deploys. And no emit faults, react. This already exists. Is there another config that I'm missing here? This Tory config shouldn't be run. This is all in source Tory, fine. Tailwind, Vite. Huh. But wait, why didn't it? I'm so confused. Hold on a second. What do you? Wait, aren't? Didn't the config the TS config have that? Oh shoot! Where was this editor? Stop! Get it! Stop! 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 Why isn't anything building again? Console. Failed to load resources. Yeah. Okay, I get all that stuff. That's because something is broken here. Read abort. Event system not found. Is this unrelated? Here is the config. I think I'm going to have to move back over to my own dev environment and fix this stuff by hand. Show me the code. Well, I want to go back to the code. Trying to see what it's trying to change here. Now let's improve the module resolution. Invite config TS to ensure it's properly handling imports. Let's also add the rollup dependency to ensure. So, all right, I'm going back and just trying to understand here what happened. These are the two files that it changed. It rolled it back to no emit equals true. So let's do this. I'm going to open up here on the right side. We're going to open up GitHub. And instead of me checking this whole thing out locally, I'm just going to your profile, your repositories, Cigar Smuggler. I'm just going to make the change here in go to 3.0. So this branch is 13 commits ahead of main, fine. The last thing it tried to do is implement game start and location updates, right? I want to see what it actually did here. Welcome to your local components changed. All right, let's go back to the code here. Let's go back to 3.0, right? This is what I'm on, right? I'm on 3.0. All right, let's look at what it's doing in these files. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to go back one. Whoa. This is weird. Source. Packages. View all files. Why are you hiding stuff? There we go. All right, let's see if we can fix this. Now, let me go back to the project. And what I wanted to see was, oh my God, there's such little space. Come on. So we have the TS config JSON. TS config JSON. All right. So here's the problem right now. It's trying to make these changes. but it wasn't able to make them. So let's do this. Let's copy this here. I'm just going to edit this directly on GitHub and see if changing this here, commit changes, update to, trying to apply fixes Lovable wants to make, yeah, but can't. All right, so we're going to commit this change. The other one was to this vite and file. This invite whatever d.ts. So if we go back here to invite dash env. So I have a feeling that vite. Oh, here we go. In the source, parse as role. All right, that all works. Let's come here. It's gotten this external change, trying to apply this external change. Let me exit out of this and see if it'll reload. I am not seeing anything. Can you verify that the project is correctly configured and fix any error that you made after setting up the new game? Yeah, it's funny. Like I see all these like arguments online about like is vibe coding is like real coding, but or like that these tools are going to replace developers, but I couldn't imagine if you don't know how to code or if you don't have like experience in like React or any of this stuff, how you would actually debug and move past this if Lovable just basically said, "Hey, I don't know anymore. I give up," which it does a lot. All right, I'll check for errors. If looking at the unhandled build errors, there are issues with the TS. I fixed the TS configuration issue, but correcting the. I don't think you did. Let me see if this is another one of those situations where the page is just cached. There we go. And it's still giving me this error. Huh. Let's see if it did anything. File new. Medium. All right. Why don't we try this a different way? Can you... I want you to change the recent sales card to show the cigars the user can buy and sell. Let's focus on just updating the look of this component before wiring it up. I want to see an updated title, and each item in the list should have the name of the cigar, some lorem ipsum for the text, and the price. Which replaces the email. That's a terrible prompt, but whatever. And the price. The widget should be fixed Ah. Height and scroll if more cigars are in the list than can be displayed. All right, let's see if this does something. I need to take a break anyways and go have some lunch soon, so I'll probably come back and I'll save. I have a whole bunch of different projects I'm working on, so I want to finish that prompting one, that prompting tool. At least I want to have something done by the end of this month that I can say I built. So I think I'll save this for just the streams, and I'll keep building out this game, and then I'll deal with all the other boring stuff off the stream. All right, let's see if it fixed this. All right, so now it seems like the error it's getting is actually from the game code. I don't know. I'm hoping it actually like understood the fact that I asked it to. I wanted it just to mock it up instead of actually wiring it up, because there's nothing to wire up to. Guess it's time for lunch and a nap. Focus on the most critical errors that are causing the build failures, then handle the unused variable warning. Sure. And close that out. Because what I'm thinking is that when you click on a cigar, it'll change that little graph to show you the history of that cigar. And then I'll reuse that as much as I can, and then I'll come up with another trigger for the buy save system. All right, this is where we have to keep trolling it until it finally fixes whatever the hell it is it's doing here. But I actually made it further than I thought I was going to. I would consider the different locations a win. The reason I'm sort of doing this backwards is that I want to get this dashboard to actually be the in-game screen and sort of fleshed out and working, because then I'll take the same sort of design language and I will ask it to build a new screen for the new start game and not just have it in that menu. I just like the idea that if this is a desktop app, it'll give you that menu at the top and you can choose. I might pull that away. I don't know, but pull it away. I might take it out, but for right now, I think it's not bad. It's just if I want to embed it and play it on the web, it just looks kind of weird when you have that menu at the top. But what are you going to do? Actually, while this thing, I'm going to see if I can find. Whoops, I spelled Cigar Smuggler wrong. Oh, did somebody take this domain? Yeah, I was born in 1907. Cigar Smuggler. When did they, does it say when this company was created? I should have kept the domain name. Although maybe I never even bought it. I don't even know. Did they tell you when they were started? Nah. I want to see. I know my game has been taken down because of. Yep, there's my original game. 2015, oh. Well, at least it shows close enough what the game actually looked like. Oh my god, it took me so long to get this graphic to work in Android. I don't know why their UI was so hard to work with in the past. I'm just taking a look at. No, I don't want your ad. Trying to see what else I can pull out from this. Um, Get a safe. I don't remember what, no cigars to display. I don't remember what the hell that was. But yeah, I found this like really great stock art and used that and just sort of built this thing around it. But yeah, setting this up was fine. I mean, it looks so dated now because this is such an old app. But come on, Lovable. I'll fix the TypeScript errors. Come on. I don't know. I'm getting less convinced that it's actually going to fix something. Because now we're back to this error. So let me see if this is a problem with Arc, the browser. We'll open a new tab. We'll open up Cigar Smuggler. Please display something. Yeah. Cigar available. No game running. There we go. Holy shit. Look at that. It actually works. Hey. That's interesting. The one thing that I noticed is that it's screwed this thing up. Am I able to... Yeah, oh my god. I think the problem here really is just Arc. This browser is just terrible. I like it because I can like create these little environments, like I can create these little panels and stuff, but man, it's like it really just sucks for this refreshing. I want you to replace the recent sales in sales text with cigars available. Leave the you made text since we'll reuse that. Then remove the redundant cigar available title. Expand out the cigar list, and so it fills the width of the parent card and shows the price. All right, I think this is going to be my last prompt of the day. We'll see how long this takes to work, but I think it's relatively close. Like, relative is a relative word. I think the core of it is almost there. Like, I like the cigar thing. Oh my god. Come on, just there we go. A forced restart. All right, file. Easy. Well, it didn't change anything. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep playing around with this. But let's do one more thing and see if it'll work. Where's my... Let me see if I can... I've had a hit or miss with this, but I want to see if I'm taking a screenshot and I'm going to tell it, I want you to update the content of the 4 cards, total rev, subs, sales, active now, and display the games data based without changing the design of anything else. And we'll give it this reference. I'll show the game's actual data in the 4 dashboard cards, total revenue, subscription, sales, and active now. We use game hook to access the current game state at the top of the dashboard page. Pass the current real values for... I really think this is... I gotta figure out how to change. I gotta figure out what I want for these. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe there should be a... I mean, the problem is if I just do an icon for cigars, like every cigar looks relatively the same. Although, you know what? I think I did this in the past, cigar. I want to take a look at cigar labels. Maybe there's something I can do here to have it generate out different cigar labels. That's not a bad idea. And then they could be different colors and stuff like this. And I can use the first initial for each cigar. All right, I could ignore this issue. Let's do a hard refresh. It normally isn't this bad. Usually you can do this with, usually it'll just make, it'll just refresh this panel if you're in Chrome. For some reason, I don't know why it gets stuck here on this, but all right, we'll make a new easy game. Hey, look at that. It did fix this. All right. That's not bad. Look at that. Oh my God, that's blinding. It's like John Oliver blinding. This is actually working. Let's do this now. Remove the bar with the bar under the file. Remove the component under the menu bar that has the name drop down. Oh, you know what? I like, let me do this. I want to see if I want to see if I can do something a little bit unique or custom for this. For each of the cigars, can you create a gradient? Can you, cigars, remove the default image and assign a random color gradient to each cigar. Show that for the preview or for the icon, and put the first letter of each cigar over the gradient. Like this. All right, let's see what it does here. Now this would be great. If I can get it to just dynamically build out these labels, even though they're not perfect for right now, I can always come back in and fix that. So the real question for me is going to be, where do I put the bank? We can get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this whole bar. I don't need that. What I'll probably do is I'll change this game dash. Yeah, we don't need this redundant Fort Lauderdale. That's already implied by what we're clicking on. And then, yeah, I think that's it. So, all right, I'm gonna end the stream in a second. I just want to see what this response comes back with, and I'm gonna end the stream, and I'll come back tomorrow, starting at 9 Eastern, and I will continue to clean this whole thing up. Come on. Let's see if we can do this. The white screen. All right, and tomorrow I'll stop using this Arc browser. It's terrible. Well, it said it did it, but it didn't really do anything. React. Maybe this didn't. It needs to fix this. But I do like this chart. So we'll reuse this chart. I like these widgets. Yeah, I guess the only real thing really is going to be the only other screen, or the only thing that needs to be shown is going to be the bank. So whenever you're in one location, you got a bank, and you can put your money in the bank to protect it from if the cops stop you. Because if you run out of money, then the game is over, and the cops will come and they'll take your money. Oh no, it did one of its stupid things where it decided that it was going to just duplicate the UI for no apparent reason. All right, well, we're close. That's interesting. It did come up with something. All right, we'll fix this tomorrow. Oh wait, here, there's some more things that needs to be fixed. But that's not bad. I think this is really the way to go. I think what we'll do is I have to go through and figure out this, all the colors that are part of this template. We'll make all those the default gradients. And then each cigar will have its own unique gradient and then its own letter. And we'll have to tell it to be smart enough to not put the letter on top of something else. And then update all this stuff and remove this double bar, whatever the hell it brought this thing back. All right. I think we made some progress. I think just given the state of it, I don't see why by the end of this week I shouldn't have a fully working game. Because then I really want to start testing out the Tory stuff and seeing if I can take a lovable app and turn it into a native app. That's going to take a little bit more work, but I have a lot of busy work to do today to finish setting up this new AI server. So I will do that. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.